Hey everybody, welcome back to the Myth Impressions channel. We are steampunked out, Nemesis gear, and of course Knox Hollow, and that is where we're at today. We are back in the Knox Hollow woodshop doing wand making once again. I've got a bunch of wand videos coming up for you, and today I have a beast. This is holly. We are just going to do a standard holly today, so I'm not doing any fancy wood carving or wood burning or anything on it. But I thought this would be a good one to show you like the early part of the process that I cut out of the most of the videos because it's the same. But it's been a while since I've shown that in some of the other videos. So you know, for some of the new people joining us, I thought I would do that. So the first thing I do is get the blank cut down to length, to the correct length, and once I have the length figured out, I start getting it into, you know, getting it round. So we're taking off the bulk of it. But when you're working this thin, and especially with this extremely mean and angry piece of holly, the grain on it is so erratic in places, and the wood is so dense. It makes it very pretty, but it also gives us a lot of chatter and a lot of tear out. And even though I've just sharpened these blades, it can be really difficult to work with. So one of the things I do to kind of help with that is I start with the blade of the wand. I start at the tip, and I get a section of this, you know, four-ish inches or so. Cut down to, this is going to be the maximum diameter that I want the blade to be. I'll do my final shaping on my disc and belt sander to kind of put the taper and stuff on it. But once I get to the maximum width, then as you can see here, I get this put into the chuck jaws, and that is going to allow me to feed part of the wand up into the chuck, and that's going to give me a lot more support on that. And so we'll go ahead and do the next section of this, and we'll do another, you know, 4-ish inches, you know, of the blade, and that's going to allow me to feed farther up into the chuck. And as you can see, I'm really struggling. I actually had to reset the you know, the post here because try to get a better angle on this because it was just having a hard time, you know, cutting the wood without chipping and tearing out and stuff. So. But this part's pretty similar. We'll get it worked down to, you know, again, the maximum diameter of the blade, and we'll get it fed up in there. But this is a good time just to kind of remind you, if you're enjoying the videos on what I do, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you ring the bell as well. And that way you'll get notified when I have some more wand videos coming up. And I do have some more coming here soon. So yeah, I'm not too worried about the tear out on the blade. Because that's going to get worked out when I go with the grain on the sander. So once I have it the maximum width, then I can feed that up into the chuck, and now I have a lot less wood here to work with that's unsupported. I'm still going to get the flex and the chatter and the tear out, but you know, when it was full length, I doubt that I could have done this one without snapping the wand. It would have flexed so much it would have caught on one of the blades and just snapped the wand. So right here we are marking out the you know, the general area that I want for the handle. And I kind of chose in my head, like I said before, I try to kind of have an idea of what I want to do on the shape before I get started on this. And then once you start working with the wood, you know, it's kind of a collaboration between, you know, you kind of go by feel what the wood wants to do and how it wants to act, and you know how much, you know, of the shape that you can kind of put into it. And I just kind of consider that part of the artistic process. So it's something that I enjoy anyways. And so we did pretty decent. It still wanted to fight me on some areas. So you know, you have to you know, again, kind of work with it and do what you can, and then just kind of be firm and work it slow and smooth and stuff like that. So we'll kind of continue doing the shaping here. And of course, I mean, I've edited out the audio, so because the machines are loud and, you know, you don't hear a lot of the, you know, the chattering and stuff that I hear. But anyways, just a real quick reminder, I'm going to beat this horse and probably beyond where it's dead, but I do have a new book out. So I have written a full-length novel. It's a very silly, cozy fantasy. So if that's something that if you're a reader and you want to read about wands and wand making, definitely check that out. I do have a link down below, for Amazon. So, yeah. The thing with this, what I'll try to do on here is get as much of the shape as I can done with the tools, and at some point you just kind of realize that there's only so much that you can do with the tools, and you just have to go to sandpaper because you're going to start getting too much tear out. So I'm kind of checking that, and I'm seeing where, how much I can do. So at this point I've got a lot of it roughed in, and I'm just using my spindle roughing gouge here to take off the rest of the blade to kind of get the shape that I want for this. And then once I have that done, then I'll start working my sandpaper and begin again, because this is such a difficult wood to work with. I actually had to go down to like a 150 grit. I usually don't. I usually go to like a 220 when I start doing my sanding, but I kind of lowered the exposure here so that you can kind of see what I was working with. Once I started sanding and I started seeing that all these little tear outs, and you can see one there. I've got another one up or farther in the blade, but lowering that contrast or lowering that exposure down so you can kind of see that. But yeah, I do a lot of sanding on this. So I went back to a coarser grit sandpaper to try to get out as much of those as I could before working up to my 300 grit. And then once I think that I've got the shape pretty well done and I'm up to about a 300, that's when I'll come in and do my friction burns. And for this one, I decided that I wanted 2 lines down here close to the pommel, and that kind of helps mirror. I think just the patterning of where I put my friction burns, it kind of helps mirror up closer towards the transition there. And yeah, then I go all the way up to like a 2000 grit, working through the grits. And first, once I start getting that ready for the sandpaper, I know that I can take off the tenon there like I do, and kind of do a little bit of shaping on the pommel. But from now on, all the shaping is going to be done with the sandpaper. So, and I've kind of zoomed in here so you can see I got all the way through my 2000 grit sandpaper, and I still found some tear outs that got filled in with sanding dust. So, and I kind of show that here. So I had to go all the way back down to my, my 150 grit sandpaper and take them back out, work all the way back through the grits. So yeah, really time consuming. I mean, in the end, holly is just a really pretty wood, so it's totally worth it. But overall, it's a lot of work. And this one had some kind of cool imperfection in there, as well that I tried to leave. And you can see now again, I kind of lowered the exposure. This is with just the oil finish on it. And then we'll get some final pictures here in just a minute. But you can kind of see some of the grain patterning already in here, and then some of the discoloring imperfections. So, but before we get to the final pictures, again, just a quick reminder, if you want to support me, to definitely check out the new novel. It's available print on demand from Amazon, and that'll ship right to your house. And so we'll hope you continue to support me in the channel and the things that I do there. So thanks for that. But yeah, so here we are, the final pictures of the wand. As you can see, I've got this in my studio, and this has got a lot better. I get a lot better resolution, and with this camera and stuff, you can see a lot better. And I am doing a little bit lower, darker exposure than I typically do in the studio. But I'm hoping that's gonna you can actually see the grain pattern in this. It's such a bright white in the first place that. I've kind of had to drop the exposure so that you can see the patterning. But, overall, I really like the look of this, even for just a standard wand where I'm not doing the fancy work on it. It's kind of a pain to work with, but holly is just such a very pretty, pale wood. So I hope you enjoyed it. And like I say, you can always, all these wands that I make, I sell these on Etsy, so you can certainly jump on there if you want, if you're interested in a wand. And hopefully you enjoyed seeing how they're made as well. And I've got some more videos coming up for you pretty soon, so we'll try to get those videoed and get those edited up, at least hopefully one a week or so for a while until I run out. Depends on how many wands you buy on Etsy. The more you buy, the more wand videos I can make. So anyways, thanks for supporting the channel. I hope you're enjoying this. And until then, we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.